Bruchim haboim. Welcome everyone. We're about to begin Be'ezras Hashem together on Daf Beis Amud Beis, 6 lines from the top. Masechet Pesachim opens up with the mitzvah of Bedikas Chometz, and our Tana begins with the words Or la'ar ba'asar. And the question is, what is the kavana when he says or? Does it mean light kipshutoy, and therefore it means during the day? During the day of the 14th, one is obligated to make Bedikas Chometz, or does it mean the night? And therefore, it's the night that one is obligated to make the bedika. It's Machlokes Rav Huna and Rav Yehuda. The Gemara goes back and forth to try to ask questions on each opinion. And the Gemara continues now, challenging this time from a statement, a pasuk in Iyov, Meisvei, Yechshechu koichvei nishpoi. May the night stars become dimmed. Yekav la'or v'ayin. It will hope, the night will hope for or, and it will not be. Va'al yir'eh be'afape shachar. And it shall not see the illuminance of the shachar. Says the Gemara, Midika Omar Yekav la'or. From the fact that the night is hoping for or, ve'ayin, and it is without any alma or yemamahu. We can conclude over here that or refers to the day, because in contrast to the night that is hoping for or, the or is the day that is hoping to then finally get to. Says the Gemara, no, hasam milat hu dechalayit le Iyov lemazle. This is where Iyov is actually cursing his own mazel. And he's saying, Omar, yehe rava delitzbei, hach gavro, lenuhura velo lishkechei. May it be the will of Hashem that man, referring to himself, Iyov, may he hope for light and he will not find it. So Yikav la'or not doesn't refer to the night hoping for or, but rather it refers to Iyov that is hoping for or, for the light. Says the Gemara with the following challenge, this one from Tehillim. Meisvei, it says in Tehillim, V'oimar, David HaMelech said, I had said, Ach choshech yeshufeni, only the night shall continue to shadow over me. V'layla or ba'adani, but the night shall have or surround me. Alma or yemamahu. Says the Gemara, v'layla, when it says layla or madeni, but the night, meaning the night, should then be day. And so we see therefore that in contrast to the night, that there should be day that surrounds me, that the or refers to the day. Says Gemara, Hasam hochika Amar David. This is what David Melech was saying. Ani amarti, ach choshech yishufeni la'olam habo shudoim eliyoim. He was saying only the night should shadow over me, as Olam Haba is compared to the day. In other words, he was concerned because of his sins that even in Olam Haba, which is compared to the day, that will darken, that will be shadowing of darkness over me, even in Olam Haba. Achshav, but now that I did Shuva, and it was accepted, all my sins were now forgiven, Ha'olam Hazeshu, Doimila Laila or Badin, even in this world, which is compared to the night, the light surrounds me. So therefore, or does not refer to the day, but rather to light. Ask the Gemara Meisvei from the following. It states Rabbi Yehuda Oimer, Boitkin or la'ar ba'asar. One should check or la'ar ba'asar. Ba'ar ba'asar shachris. If he doesn't check or la'ar ba'asar, he shall do the bedika on ar ba'asar b'shacharis. If he doesn't then check on the arbasa of shel shacharis, then b'shas habiyah, the time where he is destroying the chametz. Says the Gemara, midekama Rabbi Yehuda boitkin or arbasar uba arbasar shacharis alma or ortahu. From the fact that Rabbi Yehuda says that he should check or la arbasar, and then he says if he doesn't do it, then he should check in the shacharis of arbasar. So if then we can conclude and deduce from here that or la'ar ba'asar refers to the night. Shma min, and the Gemara accepts this. So the Gemara continues to ask, because the Gemara wants to make sure that it's muchrach, that when it says or la'ar ba'asar, that doesn't just refer to the or la'ar ba'asar, sometimes that it could be the night, but over here in our Mishnah, or Larbasar actually refers to the night. Says the Gemara, Me'emasai arbosar osir be'asiyas malacha. Here is referring to the Isser of doing malacha on Erev Pesach, Erev Yom Tif. Erev Pesach after Chatzois minadin, me'ikar adin is osir be'malacha. But before that, there's different minhagim in certain places that were mekabil the minhag not to do malacha. They don't do malacha, and the question is from when did they mekabil that minhag? Says the Bryce the following two opinions: Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov oim mishas haor, Rabbi Yehuda oim mishas hanetzach hamo. Omar le Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov Rabbi Yehuda v'chi heichon matzinu yoim shemiktosoi oser ba'asiyas malacha u'miktosoi muter ba'asiyas malacha. Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov challenges Rabbi Yehuda, and he says to him, where do you find that a day has partially in Isser Malacha and partially not in Isser Malacha? Partially that's mutter to Malacha. Either it's all Osir, it's all mutter. Or Marley, Rabbi Yehuda's response back to Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov is, Hu atzmo yochiach. The day itself proves that there is miktsas and miktsas. Shemiktaso mutter ba'achilas chametz. Umiktaso osir ba'achilas chametz. Because part of the day is mutter to eat chametz, and part of the day is also to eat chametz. So the day itself of Erev Pesach is already saying that there's no problem to then say miktsas and miktsas. So now the Gemara brings its proof. Midekama Rabbi Yehuda mishas hanetzach hamo alma or dekama Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov or tehu. From the fact that Rabbi Yehuda argues on Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov, and Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov who just said or comes along Rabbi Yehuda and says, no, the time that the Isser Malacha begins is from the Netzach Chama, implies that or was the night before. That means already from the night before there's an Isser Malacha. Says the Gemara Loi. That's not the case. My or, Amud HaShachar. When he said or, Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov, he meant to say or means from Alos HaShachar. And therefore in the earlier time in the morning, from the daybreak, from the time that the morning begins, that's when it's Asr b'Malacha. Ihochi asked the Gemara, Deka'omar leheichan matzinu yom shemitzaso mutar b'asiyas melacha, or mitzaso asr b'asiyas melacha. When he argued against Rabbi Yehuda and he said, where do we find a day that has partially a het to do malacha and partially an iser to do malacha? Either it's all mutar, it's all asr. Neima iu l'nafshei. So then let him ask the question on himself. Since he himself is saying, according to what we're suggesting, that or refers to Alos HaShachar, then that means that part of the day is muter b'malacha, meaning to say the night before, since the Jewish day starts vayi erev vayi boikir, at night it begins, and therefore it's muter to do malacha at night, only beginning from the day of Alos HaShachar is going to be osir. So you can ask the question on himself then. Ha'ika laila, the kashar Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov. The night is muter b'malacha according to Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov. It's only the day that is going to be osir. So therefore, miksas is heter and miksas is osir. Says the Gemara, Hachi ka'amar bishlama ledidi ashkechana the kapal palgi rabbanim beyamama l'leilya. According to me, it's very good that we find the Chacham make a distinction between the day and the night, because I'll bring you the following. Another precedent, this nan gabe tainis tzibor, in regards to a tainis tzibor, where the tainis begins in the morning. Ad mosai oicha v'shoise, until when can one eat and drink? Ad sheyala amar shachar, until the amar shachar. Div Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov, Rabbi Shimon Oimer, ad krois hagever, until the rooster crows. Ella lididach. So we have a present for me that we had the night where it is mutter to eat and to drink. Only the day it's also to eat and drink. So to over here, at night is a mutter to do malacha. During the day it's also to do malacha. But according to you, heicha eshkachano yemama gufei the palgi be rabbanim. Where do we find that the rabbanim make a distinction within the day itself that part of it is mutter and part of it is aser? Omar le, Rabbi Yehuda responds, Hu atzmo yachiach. The day of Erev Pesach itself is going to prove because that day itself has a partial heter to eat chametz and partially it's also to eat chametz. Says the Gemara, Shapir Kol Rabbi Yehuda Rabbi Eliezer. L'chara, but Rabbi Yehuda is responding. Rabbi Eliezer is very good. He's responding that we have a day called Erev Pesach, where itself has mitzvahs heter and mitzvahs iser. So the Gemara is asking, what's wrong with that response, and what is therefore the argument of Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov? Says the Gemara, Hachi Kamar le Rabbi Eliezer. This is what Rabbi Eliezer was saying to Rabbi Yehuda. Amina loch ana melacha d'Rabbanan. I am speaking about a melacha d'Rabbanan. That means there's an isser to do melacha d'Rabbanan, the minhag on Erev Pesach, not to do melacha. That's the Rabbanon. Ve'at amis li chametz d'oraisa, and you're going to then give me a precedent from chametz d'oraisa. I'm trying to argue with you and say, how can you have mitzvahs yoim aser, mitzvahs yoim muter to do malacha, which is a minhag that the Chacham established, and you're going to then bring me a precedent from an iser d'oraisa of chametz, which begins after chatzos. The ad hacha asar rachmana, ve'ad hacha sharachmana. The Torah itself is exeres hakasuv. The Torah tells you until chatzos is mutter to eat chametz. After chatzos, you can no longer then eat chametz. The idach and the other one, referring to Rabbi Yehuda, shows the Rabbanon. It's true that min haTorah after chatzos you can no longer then eat chametz, but the Chachamim made a difference. They were makdim the shos, and they said that even 2 hours before you have to already no longer eat chametz. So therefore, I myself have a precedent that the Chacham themselves say that there are certain times that are mutter and certain times that are osir. The Idach and Rabbi Eliezer would argue back, harchakahu the avud, Rabbanon the araisa. The Rabbanon merely made a harchaka of what was already the araisa, but they would not establish a din the Rabbanon, in this case, Isser Malacha, that would be mixas heter and mixas osir. Ask the Gemara further, Meisvei, ein masin mesuois ella al hachodesh shenira bizmano likadshoy. They would not make torches except on the day they would mekadesh, the Hainu, the 30th day. They would put torches out in order to then relay to people far away that indeed they're mekadesh the chodesh, and therefore it's a chodesh that was chasar. It was a 29-day month before, and today is Rosh Chodesh of the now succeeding month. Says the Gemara, ve'emosai masi mesuos. This is a quote from the Mishnah still. And when do they make mesuos? La'or avuroi. It says la'or avuroi. Alma or ortohu. Obviously, or refers to the night, because you don't make torches during the day. It's hard to see the torches. When is torches going to be effective? When they're put out at night. And therefore we can prove that or, when it says la'ora, la'or avuroi, it refers to the night. Gemara says shma mina. In fact, we can accept that this is a proof that or refers to the night. Meisvei. The Gemara says, Haya oimeid kol halaylo umakriv ala mizbeach. One who is standing all night and he's being makriv on the mizbeach. It says la'ora ton kiddush yadayim v'raglayim. Divrei Rebbe is of the opinion that once now it's going to then, he's by his carbon, but now it's going to be the next day. There was a lina, he was overnight. So then he has to now do kiddush yadayim v'raglayim anew. So says the Gemara, we have l'chara proof when it says la'ara ton kiddush yadayim v'raglayim. So we see that la'ara refers to indeed the day. The Gemara says no, ara shiny. Ara is different because it doesn't say ara, it says le'ara. And therefore, la'ara over here indeed refers to the day, but or itself, that does not refer to the day. And therefore, we don't have a conclusive proof that or refers to Yemama.